Tanzanians pay tribute to ex-Premier Edward Lowassa. President Samia arrives in Norway for a 2-day state visit. Good evening, I am Teddy Mparanyanga. You can also follow us live via YouTube channel TBConline and also get all the latest news through our Instagram, Facebook and X pages at TBConline. The Vice President of the United Republic of Tanzania, Dr. Philip Mpango, has led the government leaders and citizens in paying tribute to the former Prime Minister, the late Edward Lowassa, at Karimjee grounds in Dar es Salaam. Offering condolences on behalf of the President of the United Republic of Tanzania, Samia Suluhu Hassan, the Vice President has expressed his condolences to the family, relatives, friends, and all Tanzanians in general following the loss of the ex-premier.
We are gathered here to thank God for his life, but also to bid farewell and pray for his internal peace. He was the devoted son of Tanzania, who devoted his life to serve our nation with all his heart. He served the Tanzanians in various positions he held. We are grateful to God for the gift of Lowassa's life. We value his patriotism and his contribution to nation development. As we bid farewell to him, we should reflect our duties and responsibility to our nation, and we should emulate all the good things he has done.
Furthermore, the Vice President calls on all Tanzanians, and especially the young people, to honor the late Lowassa by maximizing on various opportunities in the education sector, as he was an exemplary leader in advocating for better education systems and infrastructure, managing to implement various education policies, strategies and plans, especially the construction of secondary schools in every ward.
Na kuyaishi kwa vitendo mambo yote mazuri tunayojifunza kutoka kwenye maisha yake.
Edward Lowassa's life has left us with a lot of lessons. He was a hard-working man, both in CCM part, in his public service.
Maisha ya Mheshimiwa Edward Lowassa yametua.
Earlier today, the Dar es Salaam city's residents got a chance to bid farewell to the former Prime Minister, the late Edward Lowassa, the man who has left behind a lasting legacy that will be remembered forever. A military motorcade carrying his casket slowly traveled through the different streets of the commercial city Dar es Salaam to Karimjee grounds. My colleague Kanki Magomwale was there and has prepared the following report.
Gone like a candle in the wind, the late Edward Ngoyai Lowassa was a well-known public figure, with his work being appreciated by many. The former Deputy Finance Minister, Janet Mbene, who had worked with the late Edward Lowassa, describes him as a very patriotic and hardworking. Her words are echoed by the former minister who was close to the late Edward Lowassa, Stephen Wasira.
He was a very patriotic person. I would say someone who is very patriotic. He loved his country, and he was always thinking up ideas on how best to improve the development of this country.
As a patriotic person in our country, a member who served his country without fear, with a sense of straightforwardness.
Meanwhile, the ambassador of Comoro, Dr. Hamada El Badoui Mohammed, who is also the Dean of the Diplomatic Corps of Tanzania, says through different publications that he has read about the late Edward Lowassa, he has learned to admire his commitment to Tanzania in various sectors, especially his eagerness to improve the education sector in the country.
The face of Lowassa, that he likes more the study, how he has developing the study in his country. He was very patriotic. He likes more his country. people and the family. It's that I personally I don't meet him, but through the media, through the newspaper, through the books, I read that he was a good man who liked much his country, who has an ideology for growth of the country through water, through education and health.
On the other hand, one of Tanzanian businessmen, Azim Deuji, couldn't help it, but poured his heart on how much the late Edward Lowassa will be missed, while the Ambassador Robert Rains, who's the Deputy Chief of Mission from the U.S. Embassy, describes Edward Lowassa as a true statesman.
Edward Lowassa was a wonderful person, but unfortunately he went away fast. We are going to miss him.
Edward Lowassa was a tremendous statesman and a true part of the core of Tanzania. It's part of what makes Tanzania as beautiful and as wonderful as it is. Everybody, we will mourn his loss, and on behalf of the U.S. Embassy, I give our deepest condolences to the people and to the family of Edward Lowassa.
Bidding farewell has never been easy. This is the last chapter of the book titled Edward Ngoyai Lowassa, whose history has been written and will be read by many. A history, if remembered, tears will be shed while forgetting the beautiful memories that had once accompanied the book. Edward Lowassa's footprints will forever be remembered in our hearts. Kanki Mwaigomole, TBC News.
President of the United Republic of Tanzania, Samia Suluhu Hassan, has arrived in Norway for a 2-day state visit at the invitation of the King Harald and Queen Sonja. The visit is made on the occasion of the 60th anniversary of the establishment of diplomatic relations between the two countries. President Samia Suluhu Hassan was received by the King and Queen after a welcoming ceremony held at the Palace Square in Oslo. Later in the evening of King Harald and Queen Sonja were expected to hold a gala dinner at the Royal Palace in honor of President Samia Suluhu Hassan. Minister of Finance Dr. Mwigulu Nchemba has closed the discussion sessions between the government and the team of experts from the International Monetary Fund, IMF, after completing the evaluation of the implementation of the Extended Credit Facility ECF program, which involves the access to concessional loans for the economic growth. Closing the sessions, which were held in Dar es Salaam, Dr. Nchemba has expressed his satisfaction with the initial statement presented by the team leader, Haris Charambos, which shows that Tanzania has implemented the measures set by the International Monetary Fund, IMF. Here are more details.
Minister for Finance Dr. Mwigulu Nchemba insists Tanzania will continue to properly implement the program, which is worth $1.1 billion, equivalent to 2.4 trillion shillings. Dr. Nchemba used the opportunity to discuss Tanzania's request to the IMF to help the government secure funds through its Resilient and Sustainable Trust, RST program, for the implementation of various climate change projects.
Tunashukuru kwamba tathmini inaonyesha kwamba tumefanikiwa katika program.
We are grateful that the evaluation shows that we have succeeded in this program. And now we shall add 6 months in order to create a foundation for establishing another program, which will be related to climate change funding. The government will create a unit for coordination of the whole program. It will be under the Ministry of Finance on the Foreign Exchange Unit.
On the other hand, the leader of the IMF team, Haris Charambos, says that the assessment has shown that Tanzania has implemented the ECF program well.
On the side of the structural benchmarks, again, we note very good progress on the June structural benchmarks. All have been met, with the exception of the one on the AML CFT, where we actually have noted very good progress on the side of the authorities and efforts made. However, we want to make sure that whatever remains to be done to complete the structural benchmark is taking place soon.
Tanzania is preparing to be assessed for the third phase, where the country has so far received $455.3 million out of $1.1 billion that Tanzania will benefit from in the period for fiscal year 2023-2026.
The chairperson for Tanzania Editors Forum, TEF, Deodatus Balile, says the former Prime Minister, the late Edward Lowassa, was at the forefront to value media contribution to the overall development of the nation. Speaking to TBC News earlier in Dar es Salaam on World Radio Day, Balile insists that the former Prime Minister maximized the power of media to make transformative changes.
If the general public may say that land is an issue, as we are seeing currently, and the minister responsible listens, watches, reads newspapers and take action on what has been reported, automatically the perpetrators will start to be fearful. And once they are fearful, automatically the multiplier effect will be seen. If they are dealt in one district, automatically the other district will be their turn, will know their turn might be soon. So I think taking seriously the message which is generated through the media, be it the social media, be it newspapers, be it radio, TV, is something which Tanzania has to take heed.
Furthermore, the TEF chairperson assessed that communication, which is one of the main objectives of the media, is key to development.
Costing most underdeveloped countries is communication. There is lack of communication. If it's a question of resources, we have plenty of, they are plenty. If it's a question of human resource, we have them. If it's a question of money, we have them. But allocation or the allocation of these resources needs to go somewhere where they know indeed there is a need for that what they are sending the money for.
On the Media Day, which is marked globally today, Balile calls on journalism specializations for successful growth of the sector.
Now we go that line of specializing, so that if we have someone who is capable of reporting legal issues, let him report legal issues consistently. If we have someone who can report politics, social issues, whatever, the journalists have to be trained, have to be coiled and tuned to be record keepers. If we bank to the social media, I'm afraid the balloon is going to burst soon.
The United Nations Industrial Development Organization, UNIDO, in collaboration with the Tanzania Development Bank, TIB, are set to award a significant grant of $2.2 billion to support entrepreneur skills in Tanzania's bioenergy sector. Speaking during the workshop, which brings together 70 participants, the coordinator of energy and environment projects from UNIDO and the director of planning and business from the Tanzania Development Bank, says that the aim of the aid is to support countries' efforts to reduce carbon emissions which degrade the environment.
We need to set up a circular economy model where pollution and waste are avoided. Along each value chain, the production process should limit its negative impacts on people and on environment. Then at the design stage, product should be adapted. They should last longer. They should be able to be repaired, to be reused and recycled. So it's a new way of producing.
The project targets to roll out bioethanol fuel and cook stoves, targeting 10 to 15% of urban population in Dar es Salaam. This is a huge number. We are talking of about 160,000 households in Dar es Salaam alone, let alone other cities in the country.
On the other hand, the project manager of the United Nations Industrial Development Organization, UNIDO, insists the funds will facilitate clean energy consumptions from household level.
Projects, of course, are aimed at encouraging the conversion of agro waste into useful byproducts, including energy for electricity and process heat applications, and byproducts into other value-added products like bioethanol, which can be utilized for replacing wood and charcoal.
Tanzania has shown progress in the capital markets with a number of new and innovative products which foster businesses and activities of public and private companies and institutions in the year 2023. The remarks has been made by the Chief Executive Officer of Capital Markets and Securities Authority, CPA Nicodemus Mkama, in Dar es Salaam during a meeting of capital market stakeholders organized by Vertex International Securities Limited to assess the capital market trends and conduct in the year 2023.
All this development has been happening in the market, and significant vibrance is because of the supportive and enabling environment that are being provided under the Sixth Faith government, under the able leadership of Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan. So stakeholders in the capital market are quite happy, and this environment have provided a conducive environment.
The organizers of the meeting assess that the meeting will revolutionize the capital markets in 2024, while some stakeholders highlight their recommendations to the government on some areas that need to be worked on to stimulate the development of the people.
Only expect 2024 to be better. That's why today here we have been discussing, first of all, reflecting on how 2023 performance is reflecting on the expectations of the investors, but also how 2024 is going to shape the appetite, the risk appetites of not only savvy incumbent investors, but potential new investors.
Message to the government, especially the Minister of Education, is to ensure that a review of the curriculum for primary school and secondary schools incorporate the capital markets and stock market operations. Higher education students participating in the DSC Scholar Investment Challenge, they will learn on how to invest, they'll learn on the opportunities available in the capital markets and securities.
The Tanzanian Member of Parliament for Singida West, Elibariki Kingo, is in Indonesia as part of the international election observers presenting the Speaker of the Tanzanian Parliament, who is also the President of the Interparliamentary Union, Tulia Ackson. Kingo insists Indonesia, which is the world's largest Muslim country, has proven that democracy can emerge and endure in surprising ways and in a surprising place, with intriguing lessons for democratic emergence and endurance to be learnt elsewhere.
Indonesia is a democratic country. It is our expectation that the election tomorrow, the day after tomorrow, will be a peaceful election. It is our expectation that the election will be a democratic one. And so far as I've been reading some news about the elections, and we know that Indonesia is one of the giant countries in the world as far as democracy is concerned. So it is our expectation that the election tomorrow, to the day after tomorrow, will be fair and will be peaceful. As I said, even one day I was speaking to one of my friends here in Indonesia. I told him that the future of Indonesians is in the hand of the Indonesian voters.
Before we wind up our local news tonight, let us have a look at today's exchange rates. Don't miss TBC News every weekday to know all the latest in exchange rates. Stay tuned for all the latest in international news. And here's international news as compiled by Dorothy Meyer and read to you by Nyambona Masamba.
President Cyril Ramaphosa of South Africa has ordered the deployment of 2009 soldiers to aid in the fight against armed rebel groups in the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo. The troops will be posted as a part of Southern African mission in DRC, which was approved by regional bloc in May last year. The mission is replacing the Eastern African Regional Force, which left DRC last December after the government deemed it ineffective. To Liberia. Liberia's Defense Minister, Prince Charles Johnson III, has resigned following protests by wives of the country's soldiers, who blamed him for low wages and poor living conditions in the military barracks. The women set up roadblocks near the capital Monrovia and elsewhere in the country, forcing President Joseph Boakai to cancel National Army Day celebrations on Monday. They demanded the defense minister's resignation, blaming him for reduction of the salaries of Liberian soldiers returning from peace mission in Mali. He, however, denied the allegation of misusing military funds, adding that his wish was to ensure discipline was installed in the army. President Boakai says the women's grievances will be investigated and addressed.
That was international news. Sport news up next. And in sports news, the second phase of the soccer players' talent search continues in a full swing under the Tanzania Football Federation to find players to form the under-17 football national team. The TFF Technical Director, Oscar Mirambo, says that the young players found in the first phase will join the players found in the second phase. The World Football Federation, FIFA, plans to organize an under-17 football model competition before participating in international competitions. That was sports news, and now before we conclude the news bulletin tonight, let's take a look at the weather forecast for the next 24 hours.
Hello dear viewers, welcome to the next 24 hours of the forecast from Tanzania Meteorological Authority. This is Margaret Masawe. Rainfall signals are still seen in few areas of the country, especially over southwestern highlands toward the southern coast. And TMA is issuing an advisory of heavy precipitation periods over few areas of Ruvuma, Jombe, south of Morogoro, Lindi and Mtwara. Therefore, precautive measures have to be taken. Tonight we expect a partly cloudy condition and thunder showers over Lake Victoria Basin, western part of the country, southwestern highlands, south of Morogoro, Ruvuma and southern coast. Central part of the country, north of Morogoro, Dar es Salaam and Pwani expected to feature partly cloudy condition, rainy showers over few areas. The rest parts of the country expected to be dry. Tomorrow we expect a partly cloudy condition and thunder showers over Lake Victoria Basin and western part of the country. Southwestern highland, central part of the country, south of Morogoro, Ruvuma and southern coast expected to feature cloudy condition, thunder showers over few areas and sun intervals. Northern coast expected to feature partly cloudy condition, rainy showers over few areas and sun periods. Northeastern highlands expected to feature partly cloudy condition, light rainy showers over few areas and sun periods. Now let us see the next 4 days of the forecast for some regions of the country. From Tanzania Meteorological Authority, we thank you for watching us.
That marks the end of the news bulletin for tonight. Do not miss our next bulletin in Kiswahili at 11 p.m. I am Teddy Noel Mparanyanga. Good night.